I stood there, frozen in the hotel lobby, watching my own children walk away, laughing as they stepped into the elevator without looking back even once. Monica, my daughter-in-law, threw out a line, "Finally free from the burden." And they all burst out laughing. They didn't know I had heard every word. They didn't know I was the one who paid every dollar for this trip, with the money I had saved over 8 long months, selling pies every weekend at the market, dropping loose change into a cookie tin I kept hidden behind cans of beans. They also didn't know what I was about to do. But let's rewind. Everything started 3 weeks earlier, on a Tuesday afternoon, when soft sunlight filtered through the kitchen window. That day, I was making my usual afternoon coffee, something I had done every day since my husband passed away 4 years ago, when the phone rang. It was Raphael, my eldest son, speaking in that sweet voice he only used when he wanted something. "Mom, I have a great idea," he said. My heart tightened with that familiar feeling, the small thrill I always felt whenever my children thought to include me in their plans. "What if we take a family vacation at the end of the year, just like old times?" His voice was so full of excitement I could practically hear his smile through the phone. He went on about a beautiful seaside hotel he had found, with a pool, restaurants, and activities for the kids. "It'll be perfect, Mom." I set the coffee pot down on the table, my eyes misting over with tears of happiness. It had been so long since I had been included in anything. Usually, I was only present at family dinners, quietly cleaning up in the kitchen while they talked in the living room about work, future trips, and long-term plans. "That sounds wonderful, honey." "When?" I asked, trying to keep my voice from trembling. "Early January, 7 days, Mom. Just imagine, all of us together, me and Monica, Diego and Anna, the releft painter you activism action, kids, and you too, like a real family reunion." Then he paused and added, "Just one little thing, Mom. The hotel requires one person to book under their name. Could you handle that part? We'll pay you back later." Of course, it was always like that. I would handle the paperwork, the guarantees, the reservations, while they just enjoyed the ride. But this time, I didn't mind. This was my chance to do something for the family, to prove the love I held for them. "All right, sweetheart, leave it to me." That afternoon I called the hotel. A professional, pleasant voice answered. "Golden Palms Hotel. How may I help you?" "I'd like to book for 12 people," I said, my heart racing. "What dates, ma'am?" "From January 2nd to January 9th. I heard the sound of typing. 5 family suites, all-inclusive dining, plus all activities. The total comes to $4,200. My breath caught. $4,200. My monthly pension was only $800. I had saved $800 from selling pies, but I was still far short. "Are you still there, ma'am?" the receptionist asked. "Yes. Sorry. Could I reserve now and pay later?" "To confirm, we'll need a 50% deposit that's $2,100. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat in my rocking chair going over and over the numbers. I had a little cash, some emergency savings, and my wedding ring. The ring my husband had given me 42 years ago, its small diamond catching the light. The next morning, I took the ring to the jewelry store in town. The owner, old Jack, had known my family for years. "Melissa, how are you holding up?" "I'm fine, Jack. I just want to ask, how much could I get for this ring?" He studied it carefully through his loupe, turning it gently in his rough hands. "It's a fine piece, Melissa. I can offer you $800. My chest tightened. $800 for 42 years of marriage. But then I thought of Raphael's smile, of the whole family together again, and I nodded. With the money from the ring and my savings, I called the hotel back and paid the deposit. The reservation was confirmed under my name. 5 suites, 12 people, 7 days. Over the next weeks, every time I spoke to Rafael or Diego, they only asked about details of the trip. Nobody mentioned the money. We'll figure that out later, Mom. What matters is being together. I kept selling pies, took in extra sewing work, turned down the heat to save on bills, ate less meat, walked instead of taking the bus. Everything just to pay for this so-called perfect vacation. 3 days before the trip, Rafael called again, his voice bright. "Mom, we can't wait. The kids are so excited." "Monica already packed. How's the hotel looking, Mom?" "Everything's fine. Just need to finish paying." "Oh, right. We'll sort that out later. Let's just enjoy ourselves first." The night before, I paid the remaining balance on my credit card. $4,200 in total, my savings, my wedding ring, and now debt. But I told myself, it's worth it. At least 7 full days with my family. The next morning, I got up early to pack. I chose a light blue dress, Diego once said, made me look younger, my mother's pearl necklace, and a pair of comfortable shoes for the beach. I felt like a child waiting for Christmas. At 7:30, Rafael honked outside. I rolled my suitcase out, smiling wide. In the car, Monica was glued to her phone, the 2 kids buried in their tablets. "Good morning, everyone," I greeted. Only the kids looked up. "Morning, Grandma." Monica gave a slight nod. Rafael drove in silence. I tried making conversation, asked about their work, the hotel plans, if the kids were excited about the pool. I got short answers at best. Monica kept texting, laughing, sometimes. When I asked what was funny, she replied coldly, "Just my WhatsApp group. You wouldn't get it." I turned to the window, watching fields and houses pass by, thinking of all the pies I'd sold, the nights I'd sewn, the wedding ring now locked in Jack's safe. When we arrived, my heart swelled. The hotel was more beautiful than the pictures. Tall palms swaying, flower gardens in every color, the white facade gleaming in the noon sun, the sound of water trickling from a fountain, waves crashing in the distance. "It's incredible," I whispered. "I can't believe we're really here." The kids ran ahead. Rafael and Monica hauled the bags. Just then, Diego and Anna's car pulled up. Mariana, my 17-year-old granddaughter, ran to hug me. "Grandma, this place is amazing. Did you see the pool? It's huge. They even have dinner shows and themed restaurants." "I know, sweetheart. This will be the best week." I smoothed her hair, my heart bursting with joy. We entered the lobby, so bright, so elegant, the scent of flowers in the air. I stepped up to the desk. "Hello. I have a reservation under Melissa Carter." The receptionist checked, then smiled. "Yes, Mrs. Carter, we're ready for you. 5 family suites, 7 nights, 12 guests, all inclusive. Everything is set." As she prepared the keys, I overheard Rafael and Diego whispering behind me. 5 suites? I thought it'd be simpler." "Mom booked it all. We'll figure out splitting later." The receptionist handed me elegant key cards shaped like palm leaves. "All on the 3rd floor, ocean view. Breakfast from 6 to 10 a.m. Lunch from 12 to 3, dinner from 6 to 10. You have full access to spa, pool, sports, and evening entertainment." "Wonderful," I exclaimed, my heart racing. "Did you hear that, everyone? We've got everything." But when I turned around, I froze. They were gone. Rafael, Diego, Monica, Anna, the kids, all gone. Only Mariana stood there awkwardly, her face uneasy. "Where are they?" I asked, my stomach twisting. "They went up in the elevator," Mariana said softly, biting her lip. "Dad said they'd go up first and meet later. No waiting for me, no handing me a key, not a word." I saw something in Mariana's eyes, something she wasn't saying. We headed toward the elevator, but there was no sign of the family. Up on the 3rd floor, we walked the hallway searching, but it was as if they had vanished. "Mariana, what's going on?" I asked, my voice trembling. It sighed, pulling out its phone. "Grandma, there's something you need to know. They have a family chat group on WhatsApp." It hesitated. "What WhatsApp group?" "The one Dad, Uncle Raphael, Mom, and Aunt Monica made. It's called Drama-Free Vacation." Its voice grew smaller. "Grandma, they never wanted you to come on this trip." I felt as if the tiled floor beneath me shook. They didn't want me to come? But it was Raphael who had called, invited me, asked me to arrange everything. Mariana handed me the screen, her hands trembling. I read the latest messages, each word like a knife to my heart. "We're here." The old lady covered everything like always. Perfect. "Now just enjoy. No more snooping eyes." "See?" She was grinning like a fool at the front desk. Embarrassing, but at least useful. Let her stay in her room watching TV while we go have fun. My vision blurred, tears threatening to fall. $200 from my wedding ring. 8 months of baking pies, scraping every cent, all so they could have a drama-free vacation, meaning without me. "Grandma, are you okay?" Mariana's voice echoed faintly. I stood frozen in the hallway, 5 keys dangling from my shaking fingers. The messages still glowed on Mariana's screen, each line another stab. "Hope she doesn't ruin family dinner. Don't worry if she nags, just say, 'She's tired, tell her to rest.' The kids having fun is what matters. She can handle herself." I closed my eyes, took a deep breath. The faint scent of flowers lingered in the air, but in my mouth there was only the bitter taste of humiliation. 40 years of raising children, sacrificing my dreams for theirs. Selling my wedding ring to give them a perfect vacation, and this was how they repaid me. "Mariana," I spoke with a voice unfamiliar even to myself. "How long has this group existed?" She scrolled upward. "Since the day Uncle Raphael called you. Look, he created it himself, clear as day before me. Group created December 12th by Raphael Carter. The very day he had called, sweet-talking me." I read the older messages. "Talk to Mom. She bought it all. Thinks she can handle everything. She's clueless with tech. If something goes wrong, we'll fix it. What matters is she pays. Perfect. Free vacation, no drama." Tears spilled from my eyes. And the more recent ones. "Did you confirm with the hotel that the reservation name can be changed?" "Yes," Diego asked. "It's under Mom's name, so it can be switched." "Great. Tomorrow convince her to transfer the rooms into our names, just in case. On the last day, tell her there was a payment error, need someone else to take over." I went numb. Not only were they ignoring me, they were planning to leave me with the debt. "Grandma," Mariana touched my hand gently, "what are you going to do?" That question echoed in my head. Before, Melissa would have quietly cried, swallowed the shame, pretended to know nothing. I would have stayed in my room 7 days straight, ordered room service alone, watched TV while they enjoyed the pool, spa, and parties. But this time was different. Maybe it was because the wedding ring was gone, now sitting in a jeweler's safe, or because of 8 long months of early mornings and late nights baking pies. I don't know yet, sweetheart, but I won't just stand here crying anymore. We walked into my suite. It was stunning. A king-sized bed draped in crisp white sheets, a balcony overlooking the ocean, a marble bathroom with a deep soaking tub. Everything I had ever dreamed of, and yet now, meaningless. Mariana stood by the window watching the beach, Rafael and Diego swimming with the kids, Monica and Anna sipping cocktails under an umbrella, laughing. "Do you know what hurts me the most?" I asked. "It's not the money, not even the lies. It's that I believed we'd truly be a family, that we'd make beautiful memories together." Mariana turned, her eyes red. "Grandma, I tried to tell them it was wrong, but they said I'm too young to understand, that adults have to make tough decisions." Tough decisions. So what was I to them? A burden to be managed. Just then, my phone buzzed with a message from Rafael. "Mom, we're in the rooms, heading to lunch at the beach restaurant. If you want, just order room service. See you at dinner." No invitation, not even a pretense. I stepped out onto the balcony, gazing at the endless blue sea. "Mariana, do you know? I paid everything. $4,200. I sold your grandfather's wedding ring to cover the deposit." She froze. "Grandma, I didn't know. Dad always said you'd all split the cost." All lies. I paid every cent. They knew, and they still used me. Mariana burst into tears. "Grandma, this is so wrong. I'll tell them." "No, sweetheart, don't say a word." "Not yet." "But what are you going to do?" I looked down at the beach, at my family basking in a vacation I had sacrificed everything for. All the times they had treated me as invisible came flooding back. I turned with a cold smile. "I'll pretend I don't know, because, my dear, the sweetest revenge is served cold, and I have a whole week to prepare." That afternoon I sat in my bright room, ordering room service but not touching a bite. I opened my small notebook and began documenting every detail. Dates, amounts, confirmations, even screenshots of the messages Mariana showed me. Everything carefully saved, like evidence. My phone buzzed nonstop, the official family group sending pictures of them at the pool, the restaurant, the beach. "Thanks, Mom, for arranging everything." Gratitude that felt like a slap. Meanwhile, the secret group kept plotting, with Mariana quietly forwarding me screenshots. "She stayed quiet today. Good. Hopefully she won't join us for dinner. Tomorrow let's ask for extra room keys, say we need privacy." Privacy. As if my very presence ruined their joy. Around 6 p.m., Mariana knocked on my door. She wore a floral dress, her hair neatly tied up. "Grandma, are you going down to dinner?" "I'm not sure. What do you think?" She sat, twisting her hands nervously. "I think you should. Not because they deserve it, but because you paid for that meal. You have every right to enjoy it." I smiled. The girl was wiser than her own parents. "You're right. I'll go." I changed into a black dress, one I had found at a thrift shop, but it fit perfectly. I put on makeup carefully, wore pearl earrings, and dabbed on my mother's perfume. If I had to face them, I'd do it looking my very best. The main restaurant was elegant. White tablecloths, glowing candles, large glass windows overlooking the ocean, the sunset painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. A place I had once dreamed of, never imagining I would one day pay for it myself. When I entered, the whole family was already gathered around a large round table. Rafael noticed me first, gesturing with a smile that seemed a little forced. "Mom, glad you came down. We already ordered appetizers. I sat in the only empty chair conveniently placed with my back to the ocean. Of course, coincidence. How was your afternoon, Melissa? Anna, my youngest daughter-in-law, asked sweetly, as she always did when others were around. Very quiet, I replied, pouring myself a glass of water. I rested, read a little, admired the view from the balcony. How lovely, Monica muttered, her eyes still fixed on the menu. We spent the whole day at the pool. The kids must have loved it, I said, looking at my grandchildren sun-kissed, smiling brightly. At least they were truly enjoying this vacation. Throughout dinner, the conversation flowed as if nothing was wrong. They talked about the spa, plans for tomorrow, the perfect weather, how delicious the food was. I nodded, smiled at the right moments, occasionally added a comment, but in my mind, I was taking note of every detail. I noticed Diego ordering the most expensive bottle of wine without asking me, as if it were natural that I would pay. Monica ordered 2 desserts, tasted only a few bites, then left them. Raphael told the kids to order whatever they wanted because Grandma's treating everyone. But what broke my heart was when little Tom, 8 years old, asked, "Grandma, will you build sandcastles with me tomorrow?" Monica immediately cut in. "Sweetheart, Grandma's too tired to spend all day at the beach. Play with your cousins instead." "But I want to play with Grandma," Tom pleaded. Anna patted his head gently. "Older people need more rest. You'll have time to play with Grandma when we get home." Older people. As if I were some relic in a museum. I'm 65, not 90. I can build sandcastles just fine. I smiled as naturally as I could. "I'd love that, Tom. Tomorrow after breakfast, okay?" I caught Monica and Anna exchanging a quick glance, that silent signal only those who are used to manipulating know well. "Well, we'll see how the weather is tomorrow," Monica said indifferently. On the way back to the elevator, I heard Diego whisper to Anna, "Tomorrow morning we're going to the spa. Take the kids to the children's pool so they don't bother Mom." Exactly the time I had promised Tom we'd build sandcastles. How convenient. In the elevator, Raphael asked, "Mom, do you need help with anything? The hotel papers, the keys, things like that." Ah, so the plan to take control of the reservation had begun. "No, son. Everything's fine. I have it all under control. But I thought if we handled the technical stuff, it'd be easier for you." "That's kind of you, but not necessary." I caught a flicker of frustration in his eyes before the smile returned. When I returned to my room, Mariana was already waiting in the hallway. "How was dinner, Grandma?" "Very educational," I answered, unlocking the door. We went inside. She sat on the chair while I slipped off my shoes and set my bag on the table. "Grandma, I've been thinking. What they're doing is so wrong I can't stay quiet." "Mariana, listen to me. I know you mean well, but I need you to trust me. Can you do that?" She nodded, though she still looked unsure. "Good. Keep sending me the messages from the secret group, but act normal. Don't let them suspect a thing." "But for what?" I sat across from her and held her hands so young and smooth, unlike mine, scarred from 65 years of work and sacrifice. "Because, sweetheart, when someone betrays you, the biggest mistake is confronting them immediately. The wisest thing is to let them believe their plan is working, while you prepare your own. Do you already have a plan?" "I'm working on it." She was quiet for a moment, then asked, "Grandma, have you ever felt like this before? This angry, this disappointed?" I looked out at the balcony, where the full moon reflected on the waves. A beautiful sight I should have shared with my husband, if he had lived to see it with me. Only once. when your grandfather died and I realized I'd have to face the rest of my life alone. But this time is different. Different how? Because when he died, the pain was inevitable, it was part of life. But this was a choice. My children chose to hurt me, chose to use me, chose to betray me, and choices have consequences. That night, after Mariana went back to her room, I didn't read or watch TV. I just sat and thought, planning. For the first time in years, I felt powerful. Because I had something they didn't know I had. Information. And as my husband used to say, information is power. Tomorrow, I would start using it. I woke up early, just as I had during the past 8 months of rising at dawn to bake pies for sale. But this time, not out of obligation, out of a strange surge of energy I hadn't felt in years. I made coffee, sat on the balcony watching the sun rise over the ocean, and opened my notebook. At 7:30, Mariana sent me screenshots from the secret group. Plan for today, spa at 9, kids at the children's pool with the hotel nanny, lunch at the beach restaurant without the old lady. If she asks, say it was spontaneous. Perfect. Don't forget to ask for keys to the other rooms. Come up with a believable excuse. Say it's in case of an emergency or the kids want to throw a surprise party in one of the suites. They couldn't even invent a new lie. But what cut me deepest was the nanny. They had hired a stranger to watch my grandkids instead of asking me, the one who had raised them when they were babies. At 8 a.m., I went down to the restaurant for breakfast. There were few people. Golden sunlight streamed through the windows, the sound of waves drifting in. I ordered coffee, fresh fruit, and eggs. I looked around. An older couple laughed while sharing croissants, their wrinkled hands intertwined. A young family where the parents fed a baby while the grandmother held the older child in her lap, telling stories that made him giggle. A real family where grandparents were integral, not a burden to be tolerated. At 9 sharp, I saw Raphael, Diego, Monica, and Anna heading to the spa, the kids running ahead excitedly. Not one of them looked my way. Not one asked if I'd eaten. I finished my coffee slowly, savoring every sip, then went back to my room. I pulled out all the reservation papers, confirmations, receipts, copies of my credit card. Everything neatly organized in a folder. At 10:30, I went down to the front desk. "Good morning, Mrs. Carter." The same receptionist from yesterday smiled. "Are you enjoying your stay?" "Very much, thank you. I have a question. This reservation is entirely under my name, paid with my card, correct?" "Yes, that's correct. Melissa Carter, 5 suites, 7 nights, all inclusive, fully paid." "If I wanted to make any changes, do I have that authority?" "Of course. Only you, as the one who booked and paid, can make changes." "Good. I'd like you to add a note. Only I am authorized to alter or transfer anything. No one in my family can touch it without me present and with my ID." "Understood, ma'am." I nodded. "And what's the cancellation policy?" "For this type of reservation, if canceled 24 hours before checkout, you'll be refunded in full, minus 1 night's fee if it's later. If you shorten the stay, the remaining nights will be refunded, minus any applicable fees." "Very good." I left the counter, and for the first time I felt like I was truly in control. Not the useless old woman they thought I was, but the one holding all the power. At 11:30, Mariana knocked on my door, her hair damp with the smell of chlorine, breathing heavily. "Grandma, I have to tell you something urgent. I heard Dad on the phone with the bank. He was asking how to dispute a charge on the card. He said something about the hotel, about unauthorized expenses." A chill ran down my spine. The bank. Mariana dropped onto the bed, her face full of worry. Grandma, I think they're planning to claim that you spent the money without the family's permission. The room started spinning. They didn't just want to ruin my vacation and take control of the reservation, they planned to leave me with the entire debt, then dispute it with the bank so they wouldn't have to pay a single cent. Are you sure you heard right? I asked, my voice trembling. I'm sure. After the call, Dad went to meet Uncle Raphael and the others. I heard him say, "Everything's in motion. By tomorrow it'll be done." So it was all calculated. They would enjoy every service until the last day, then make their move, leaving me humiliated and bankrupt. I stood up and walked out to the balcony. The ocean was still there, calm and indifferent to human tragedy. The waves rolled in and out, steady as ever. But inside me, something had shifted since yesterday. It was no longer just disappointment or pain, it was cold determination. "Mariana," I whispered, staring into the distance. "Do you trust me?" "Of course, Grandma." "Then I need you to do something for me, and you must not tell anyone, no matter what." I turned back and looked her straight in the eyes. "Tonight, when everyone is asleep, come to my room. We'll have an important conversation about the future of this family." "What are you going to do?" she asked, her voice shaking. "I'm going to teach them a lesson they'll never forget." My phone buzzed a message from the official family group. "Mom, we're having lunch at the beach. We saved a seat for you if you'd like to join." Liars. I knew perfectly well they had planned to exclude me. But this time, instead of feeling hurt, I smiled faintly. "Text your dad back. Thank you, but I have other plans." And I did have other plans so clear it surprised even me. That afternoon, while I enjoyed the beach with the money I had paid, I made 3 important phone calls. First to the bank, second to the hotel reception, and third to my lawyer. If they thought they could play games with me, they were badly mistaken. The game had only just begun, and this time I held all the cards. Over 65 years of life, I had learned that patience is the most powerful weapon a woman can have, especially when she's underestimated. The first call, the bank. After navigating through endless automated menus and a long wait, I finally spoke with a representative. "National Bank. This is Carmen. How can I help you?" "Hello, Carmen. This is Melissa Carter. I need to report a possible attempted fraud involving my credit card." After verifying my information, I explained carefully. "I have reason to believe that some family members will attempt to dispute legitimate charges I made, specifically a hotel reservation for $4,200, which I authorized and paid for myself." Carmen took notes and replied, "We'll put a protection flag on your account. If anyone tries to dispute it, the system will require substantial proof of actual fraud. In the meantime, the charge will remain valid." I exhaled with relief. First battle won. The second call, the hotel manager. Mr. Miguel, calm and attentive, listened as I explained the family situation and nodded. "Not unusual at all, ma'am. We'll provide written confirmation that you are the one who booked and paid for everything, and only you may make changes or transfers related to it." I added, "Please note in the system, only I, Melissa Carter, can make changes. No one else in my family may do so without me present with identification." He agreed immediately. The final call, my late husband's old lawyer, Mr. Joaquin. I told him everything, from the secret group chat to the fraud plan to their scheme to leave me with the debt. "Melissa," he said slowly, "this is elder abuse and also financial fraud. This is a federal crime. You have the right to sue them." His words hit me like a punch in the chest. Sue, my own children, Rafael, Diego, the boys I once cradled in my arms. I whispered, Joaquin, I just want them to stop. You have options. You did right by contacting the bank. I'll send you a notarized affidavit confirming that you paid for everything yourself. After the call, I sat silently, watching the sunset. Outside, the family returned from the beach, laughing and chatting loudly. At exactly 6:30, there was a knock on my door. Rafael walked in, half smiling. Hi, Mom. How was your afternoon? Very productive, son. Very productive. Productive how? Made a few calls. Paperwork. Adult things. His smile faltered. Mom, Diego and I thought maybe it'd be more convenient if we held some of the other room keys, in case of an emergency. What kind of emergency would require you to enter rooms that aren't yours, Rafael? I stared at him. He stumbled. Just for convenience. I'm 65, not 95. I can hold on to these keys. He forced a smile. Of course, Mom. I didn't mean. Didn't mean what, Rafael? Go on, finish it. He muttered. Never mind. Forget it. Are you coming down for dinner? Of course. After all, it's my money paying for that dinner, isn't it? His eyes flickered nervously. Yes. But in the end, we'll split everything evenly, like we said. When exactly did we say that? I cut him off. He fell silent. The obedient mother he expected was no longer there. He was facing a different Melissa now. That night, sitting in the elegant restaurant, I watched my family feast at my expense. Wine, desserts, fake smiles. They talked about tomorrow as if I were invisible. But I noticed Mariana. She looked at me differently, with worry, with the understanding that something inside me had changed. I also saw my little grandchildren, innocent and laughing, blissfully unaware. And at that moment I realized not everyone at that table had betrayed me. That night, after everyone had gone back to their rooms, Mariana quietly knocked on my door just as we had arranged. Grandma, what's going on? At dinner, Dad looked so strange. Strange because his plan isn't going the way he wanted. I told Mariana about the phone calls I had made that day, to the bank, to the hotel manager, and to my lawyer. I explained the measures I had taken to protect myself and the meeting already scheduled with the hotel director the next morning. Are you going to cancel the trip, Grandma? Mariana asked, her eyes wide. No, sweetheart. I'm going to do something far better. What is it? I smiled, and for the first time in days it was a real smile, not a forced one. I'm going to give them exactly what they deserve. The next morning, right at 5 a.m., I woke up. Not because of an alarm, but because my body was used to rising early after months of baking to make ends meet. But today was different. No fatigue, no sense of obligation, just a strange new energy. Today was the day everything changed. I showered, put on the navy blue suit I had once bought for my husband's funeral but never used for anything else, and headed down to the restaurant. At 6:30, the place was nearly empty, perfect for reviewing my documents one more time. As I sipped coffee and went through the papers my lawyer had emailed me last night, Miguel, the hotel manager, walked in. He was in his 40s, polite and professional, with a warm smile. Mrs. Carter, good morning. Did you sleep well? Very well, thank you. Can we meet early? I'd like to settle some matters before my family wakes up. He nodded and led me to his office. Inside the elegant room with a garden view, he pulled out a folder. We've reviewed your case with our legal department. We need to confirm a few things. You paid the full $4,200 with your own card, voluntarily, as a surprise for your family. Correct? That's right. And you have proof that some family members intend to dispute the charge? Yes. My granddaughter overheard my son on the phone with the bank. Miguel handed me 2 documents. One was an official confirmation that I alone had paid. The other was even more interesting, a contract addendum giving me full authority over the rooms. What exactly does this mean? I asked. It means you decide who stays and who leaves. You can keep all 5 rooms, or cancel 1, 2, even 4 of them if you wish. My heart raced. Miguel, what time is checkout here? Noon, but it's flexible. Then listen carefully. I want to cancel 4 rooms, 301, 302, 304, and 305. Keep only 303 my room. He took notes diligently. I added, at 10 a.m., deactivate their room keys. At 11, have staff knock on their doors and inform them that since the person who booked me has made changes, they must leave before noon. If they get angry, call security. If they want to speak with me, they may come to 303, but only if they behave respectfully. Miguel looked at me with both respect and curiosity. What made you decide this? Do you have a family, Miguel? Yes, a wife and 2 young children. Do you love them? Of course. Then imagine one day you discover they belittle you, exploit you, and plan to deceive you. What would you do? Miguel was silent. I continued. For 40 years I raised children, cared for them when they were sick, sacrificed my own dreams, and now they treat me like a walking wallet. I'm not sad, Miguel, I feel free. I signed every document, with the hotel's notary present. Then I said, at 12:30, arrange a taxi for 2, my granddaughter Mariana and me. We'll be moving to another hotel where we can actually enjoy our vacation. He smiled. I'll take care of it right away. When I returned to my room, it was 8:30. The family was probably still asleep, getting ready for a perfect day. But today would be different. I sat on the balcony, sipping coffee, waiting. At 9 o'clock, Mariana texted me a screenshot from the secret chat. Plan for today. Beach all day, spa in the afternoon. The old lady will probably hide in her room. Later we'll go to reception to take over the booking. The bank is handled too, so tomorrow no worries. I smirked. At exactly 10 o'clock, Miguel called. Mrs. Carter, the system is ready. In 2 minutes, rooms 301, 302, 304, and 305 will be deactivated. Perfect. Do it. At 10:05, their room keys were nothing more than useless pieces of plastic. At 10:07, I saw Anna leave the pool, heading upstairs. At 10:10, Mariana messaged me. Grandma, Mom is yelling at reception because her key won't work. Now the whole family is there. Dad looks stressed. The receptionist is explaining something, but I can't hear clearly. At 10:20, Raphael called me. His voice was forced, his panic barely hidden. Mom, there's a problem with the rooms. The keys don't work. Can you come down to reception and help us? I took a sip of coffee, calm as ever. What's the problem, son? They said there was a change in the reservation, but that's impossible because no one changed anything. I smiled faintly, watching from my balcony as my family panicked by the pool. In that moment, I knew after so many years I was the one holding the reins. I answered in my most innocent tone, strange. I'm sure no one made any changes. Of course not, Mom. Diego jumped in, anxious. Can you please come down? We need to sort this quickly. The kids want to get back to the rooms. I'm a little busy right now, don't worry. Everything will be resolved soon. Busy with what? Important matters. I hung up before Diego could reply. At 10:45, Mariana texted, "Grandma, the hotel manager is talking to Dad and Uncle Rafael. They look worried. And Monica is arguing with one of the receptionists." Close to 11, my phone rang again. This time it was Diego. "Mom, you have to come to reception right now. There's been a serious misunderstanding, and only you can clear it up." "What misunderstanding?" "The hotel says you canceled our rooms." "That's absurd, right? Just tell them it's a mistake." "Absurd? Why, Diego? I mean, there's no reason for you to cancel all our rooms." "Exactly. No reason at all." I paused, letting the silence weigh heavy. "Diego, I'm sure Miguel explained everything already." "Miguel? You know the hotel manager?" "Of course. We had a very productive meeting this morning." I could hear Diego's tone shift completely. "Mom, you canceled our rooms yourself?" "Yes." "But why?" "Because I can." I coldly hung up. At exactly 11 o'clock, I saw Miguel from my balcony, walking toward the pool with a guest services employee and a plainclothes security guard. They stopped right in front of my family. I clearly saw Rafael and Diego wide-eyed, Monica arguing furiously, Anna pale as a sheet. The grandchildren looked lost, not understanding a thing. A few minutes later came a pounding knock on my door, urgent, anything but polite. I opened it. There they were, Rafael, Diego, Monica, and Anna, their faces twisted with anger, confusion, and panic. Behind them, the children stood clutching their beach bags. "What the hell are you trying to pull?" Monica shouted first. I stayed calm. "Good morning." "Come in, let's talk." "Don't mock us, Melissa," Monica snapped. "The hotel says you canceled our rooms. That's ridiculous." "What's ridiculous about it?" "Because your family!" "Since when?" I answered coldly. Rafael stepped forward, trying to sound conciliatory. "Mom, this must be a mistake. Come down to reception, we'll sort it out." "There's no mistake, Rafael. I canceled the rooms. Because this trip isn't a family trip anymore. It's my trip." Anna looked genuinely baffled. "I thought this was a family vacation?" "I thought so too, until I discovered you never saw me as family." I pulled out my phone and showed them the WhatsApp screenshots Mariana had sent me. Each face went gray as they read their own words. "This isn't what it looks like," Rafael stammered. "Then explain what free vacation without drama means," I pressed. The room fell silent. Diego finally tried. "Mom, we know we messed up, but the kids shouldn't suffer. They need rooms to rest." "The same kids you hired a nanny for so they wouldn't have to be near their grandmother?" I cut him off. "And what about the bank, Diego? Planning to dispute the charges so you wouldn't pay a dime?" Diego's face drained white. Monica collapsed onto a chair. Anna buried her face in her hands. Rafael just stood there like a boy caught stealing candy. I spoke evenly, each word sharp. "You have two options. 1. Take your belongings already packed by the hotel staff, call a taxi, and find another place to stay on your own dime. Or 2, there is no second option." Monica shot up, furious. "You can't do this. We're your family." I met her gaze. "Family? People who abandon, belittle, and use me like a walking wallet. That's not family." The air was heavy. Only the hum of the air conditioner and the distant crash of waves broke the silence. Rafael tried once more. "Mom, please, we can work this out." "Work it out how? Erase the messages? Cancel your fraud scheme with the bank? Give me back decades of lost respect?" No one answered. Mariana stepped into the room, her eyes red. "I know everything." Her voice shook but stayed firm. "You all disrespected Grandma, only used her to pay. She even sold her wedding ring to cover this trip." Rafael and Diego were stunned, silent. Monica, instead of ashamed, glared at me. "We'll leave, but Melissa, this isn't over." I faced her and said quietly but with steel, "You're right, it isn't over. But not for me. For you." That's when Miguel knocked politely. "Sorry to interrupt. The family's taxi is ready. Their luggage is waiting in the lobby." I nodded. "Thank you, Miguel." Monica froze. "Taxi? You're leaving too?" "Yes, but not with you. Mariana and I are going to another hotel one where we can truly enjoy our vacation." "Mariana's going with you?" Diego asked, visibly shocked. I looked at my granddaughter. Mariana nodded firmly. "She's the only one in this family who treated me with respect and honesty. She's the only one worthy of sharing this vacation with me." "You can't take my daughter," Anna screamed. "I'm not taking her," I said firmly. "She chose to come with me." "Mariana, you can't do this," Diego pleaded, his voice a mix of anger and desperation. "We're your family." "Dad?" Mariana looked straight at him, eyes full of love and disappointment. "Grandma is family too, and you betrayed her. I can't be part of that." "Just for a few days," I added. "Afterward, she can choose if she wants to go back to you." "This is kidnapping," Monica muttered. "No," I replied firmly. "This is justice." Rafael stepped close one last time. "Mom, if we leave like this, things will never be the same between us." I placed my hand on his shoulder. For a fleeting moment, seeing the boy he once was before he grew into a man who chose to betray his own mother. "Things will never be the same again, Rafael. You made sure of that." I pulled my suitcase, the one I had packed. Right after meeting with Miguel that morning, Mariana already had hers ready. "Where are you going?" Diego asked, his voice tired and defeated. "Somewhere I can be a grandmother without having to apologize for existing." We stepped into the hallway. The other grandchildren stood there, confused and sad, not fully grasping what was happening but sensing something important had shattered. I knelt down, looking each of them in the eyes. "I love you all very much. None of this is your fault. One day, when you're older, you'll understand why I had to do this." Tommy, the 8-year-old, threw his arms around me. "So we're not building sandcastles anymore, Grandma?" I hugged him tight and whispered, "One day, you and I will build the most beautiful sandcastles in the world." When your parents remember how to treat the people who love them, Mariana and I stepped into the elevator. Before the doors closed, I saw my family standing in the hallway. My sons defeated, my daughters-in-law furious, and my grandchildren bewildered. In the lobby, Miguel was already waiting with the taxi. "Mrs. Melissa," he said as the driver loaded our bags into the trunk, "it's been an honor to know you. What you did today took a lot of courage." "Not courage, Miguel," I smiled wearily. "Survival." The taxi pulled away from the hotel. Through the rear window, I saw my family standing at the entrance with their suitcases, probably calling around for another place to stay. "Grandma, do you regret it?" Mariana asked softly. I stayed silent, watching the scenery fade. Memories of 40 years of motherhood filled my mind. The sacrifices no one acknowledged, the love I gave without ever receiving the smallest bit of respect. Finally, I answered, "I only regret that it took me so many years to learn how to value myself." The car took us to a small seaside hotel I had booked earlier that morning, a quiet place where a grandmother and her granddaughter could build sand castles, share peaceful dinners, and remind each other that real family is where love and respect exist. For the first time in many years, I felt free. And for the first time in my life, I put my own needs first. It was frightening, it was liberating, but above all, it was right. Asterisk. Perhaps the most painful thing isn't losing money or being betrayed, but realizing that the people you love most don't value that love. Yet in that very moment, you learn that family isn't built on blood alone, it's built on respect and sincerity. This story reminds me, sometimes, to find peace, we must put ourselves first. And that isn't selfish, it's saving ourselves. What about you? Where do you think the line lies between sacrificing for family and losing yourself? Share your thoughts below because your story might just help someone out there find their strength. And if you'd like to continue this journey of listening, reflecting, and learning from real-life stories like this one, follow along so you won't miss the meaningful lessons ahead. Together, we can build a community that knows how to listen, respect, and love.